Okay, then I'm going to move on. Erica Reddick is next. I'd like to give Erica an extra 30 seconds or so because she didn't get to address her issue around separation of powers before, okay?
Thank you very much, Barbara. That is very generous of you. I really appreciate it. My name is Erica Reddick. I'm a resident of Ward 4. That's the new north end of Burlington. I am a fortunate owner of my grandparents' triplex that they had built in 1963. So it's where my mom grew up, spent a lot of time in Burlington, went to Lyman C. Hunt, and I'm very vested in making sure that Burlington and Vermont actually return to affordability and return to a place where the middle class can raise their families, raise their children, educate them, and be safe and secure and not have to worry about public safety as we are starting to see now. So some of my major policy initiatives are going to be around the economy. So everything to me sort of centers around the economy. If we have a group of people, if we have a population of people who have good jobs and the ability to make good money, take care of themselves, take care of their families, a lot of these other problems start to work themselves out. And as we build that wealth and that economy here in Vermont, we're going to have the money that we need to pay for all of the initiatives that I've heard people talking about this evening. One of the things that I love about Vermonters and being from Vermont is how much people actually really care about the environment. They care about their neighbors. They care about their schools. They want people to be happy and healthy, and people really are engaged in their community. And what I've found in my experience is that the best way to facilitate people's ability to participate in their community and really build up those resources that we need to address things like the opioid crisis and other systemic issues that we have in the system is making sure that people have enough. And while the answer always seems to be to raise taxes, our current administration and legislature don't seem to understand that as we raise taxes and raise regulations and fees and things like that, the more it costs to run a business, to build things, and to get by. And businesses and people leave. They're leaving. You know, I think most people know that we have a negative population growth in the state of Vermont. And that the only people moving in, or the majority of the people moving in, are wealthy and they're remote workers. And while that's great, and that's a great tax base, what we need are jobs and the middle income infrastructure to make sure that people are okay. I believe right now in Vermont, the statistic, at least before COVID, was 50% of folks were on some kind of state assistance and 50% were working. And that's just not sustainable if we want to pay for all of the things that we want to pay for. We have to make sure that there are businesses who can thrive and succeed. And so my policies are going to be about, let's get some businesses in here that can generate some revenue and make it possible to have these things happen. Another big issue I really care about is our schools. You know, I don't think a lot of people understand. So 75% of our property taxes go towards our schools, but that's not the only funding mechanism. It also comes from sales tax, meals and use tax, and a number of other taxes and fees that are raised around the state, which have been demolished with COVID. So we're going to be facing a huge shortfall in school funding, not to mention how much Act 46 has really just put an iron yoke on our schools around the state and really harmed the ability for localities to get good educators, good education in their areas. And I think it was mentioned earlier, the mechanism for the funding really is often taking from poor communities and giving it to more affluent communities who just provide more services. And that's really unfair that places like, thank you. it's really unfair that places like Chittenden County get more funding when we're actually more affluent. I think it's really important that we have a look at the ways that we've created inequity in our system rather than solved it. So I want to make sure I honor my time. And just my last little thing is, it's really okay to say that we don't care about separation of powers when it's your team that's in the legislature, but eventually it's not going to be your team. And you're not going to like it when the minority has the ability to overrun the majority with their policies, because gridlock is intentional and built into the system. So thank you very much. Appreciate you letting me be here.
Thank you, Erica.